I I really trust in this equipment. I really trust that we're alive and it's not gonna tell me.
Nope.
You know what I mean? Yeah, we are. We are with a little bit of delay, but that's all right. Everyone's here. Everyone's doing great. Uh, damn, what is this? I want to know. What the heck are you doing here?
Man, you can't beat Fusion, right? Start to finish. It was funny. You caught me today. I was CNC machining in my garage, and I'm actually going out to visit a customer tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
A big customer called Northrop Grumman. They make defense. They're in the defense industry. So, I was going to bring the CNC machine down and show them some cool stuff with Fusion, how you can go from a design to fabrication piece. And this little, we call it the end cap. And
Mm-hmm.
it's actually the end cap to our own 3D printer we created, an SLA printer called the Ember,
Mm-hmm.
the Autodesk Ember printer. And, it's great to show how you can quickly make prototypes,
Right.
going from design to fabrication, and just post out the code, stick it in the machine, and go make something.
Yeah. So for those who are watching us right now, it's a very technical intro.
Yeah.
Should
um,
quantum physics next?
That's so funny. Yeah, that's we're sharing Curtis' screen. He's gonna show us some goodies. He's gonna show us some. I mean, um, the the main reason for this one, and we already had Curtis on our session before. I think Ash was joining us
Yeah,
during that one. He's right now at FITC, so he couldn't join us today. However, I should be good enough. I should be good enough for this.
of course, of course.
um, yeah, Curtis is just so for someone who's joining us and never heard of you, maybe you could give us a little small intro who you are, where you work, and what do you do, so that we can
Totally.
give some little context to this conversation.
You got it, boss. Well, Kurt Chan, based in Southern California. I am a technical evangelist here at Autodesk. Hence meaning the jack of all trades with Fusion 360. So, at on my role at Autodesk, I spend a lot of time with customers. Hence here I am with one of my favorite customers, Maciej and John, spending time with them, talking about Fusion, seeing what they've been doing with it, and seeing how I can help them out. But at the end of the day, it's all about making people successful with their products. And the big product I focus on is Fusion 360, which is kind of the future, not kind of, but is the future of Autodesk in manufacturing. So we
Mm-hmm.
consider Fusion a platform rather than just your traditional kind of CAD or CAM product. Like, I'm sure you're familiar with Maya or 3ds Max or SolidWorks. So these are just products or tools to get the job done, where Fusion is going to be the platform where all these other products can plug into it and everything works all honky dory in a great ecosystem.
Damn, damn, damn.
Awesome.
um, I I already told you that, but I want to see an integration of Max and Maya with Fusion.
Yep.
That would be freaking. That would just would made my day. That would be a game changer. I feel.
We're in that
Like,
process.
oh shit, oh shit.
There you go.
It's just getting me excited. Just getting me excited. We didn't even start, and I'm already sort of like, super super stoked. Yeah, because
That,
one of the
that's coming
things.
out in year 2025, just to let you know.
Fuck. Just killed the buzz.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked.
I was trying to set you up to use that.
uh, I was too slow. I'm slow today.
Uh, no.
Yeah. So, for it was actually a question here on
Mhm.
Twitch on the chat, and I think John, if you can definitely send the Twitch link to Curtis so he can look at chat if he wants to.
Yeah,
Sure.
please.
Just make sure you mute the video feed because it's gonna
It's
loop
right
back.
there.
Yeah, totally.
Um, but overall, someone asked, or someone JRJS asked, if we could elaborate a bit on why you do some things in Fusion instead of modeler or sculptor programs. So, like, why would you choose to work in Fusion instead of like doing regular modeling job. You've been doing modeling yourself a little bit, right? With Maya or Max.
I've worked with people that do use it.
Oh, okay.
I am not a professional. I'm an engineer by trade, so I spent a lot of time in the CAD market. So like the Inventor, the Pro Engineer, the SolidWorks, and then now we have this bridge with Fusion that gives you parametric modeling as well as something we call T-spline
Mm-hmm.
technology or sculpting surfacing, and you guys are the experts to get into B-rep data, get into the Rhinos, the Mayas, the Maxes, the Blenders, all those other products where we kind of see this integration, even Alias, right? It all depends on your cup of tea and what works best for you. What we've done though is we're introducing a simpler way to design and sculpt with Infusion to the traditional engineer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we're offering the customer like yourself who are experts in Maya and 3ds Max kind of a bridge to say, well, look at what I can do with T-splines. Well, what's this parametric feel and what can I do with it?
Right.
And then how do I go to like a manufactured part? Because I know, Maciej, last time we chatted, you've been working with a lot of customers where you just would send them an STL file and then or a step file, and they would just go out and print it out or do something from it, go manufacture it. And now this bridge with Infusion, you can do all that right here with Infusion. So if you want to go 3D print it, if you want to go CNC machine it, if you want to go send it to a service bureau and have them take care of it and print it out in gold, whatever you want, all that can be done with Infusion
Or
today. So
titanium.
titanium, yeah, honestly, titanium. You just go to Shapeways. It's funny, under our very top, under our make, you'll see we have all these integrations with Bright Hub to Fathom, 3D printing partner out there.
Mm-hmm.
You can even go to 3D Print, and if you have a 3D printer yourself, you can go and load some of our other products that allows you to go to Mesh Mixer or Cura or a custom setting one you put up to work with. So there's a lot of
Right.
flexibility when you work with inside of Fusion.
Yeah, that's really cool. I just gonna elaborate on that. I'm gonna quickly move to my screen for a second.
Of course.
Because I guess one of the things that people would want to know is what is the also from like the standpoint of entertainment design, what is the difference? And I can definitely elaborate on that because you give us like a really nice sort of like overview of what Fusion is. And honestly, these days, Fusion 360. I've tried many different softwares. I felt just on my personal perspective, Fusion was the easiest to get into, and also it felt like the most intuitive, I would say, because it's just it's literally just like kind of you open it up and you kind of already know what to do. There's nothing confusing there. You don't have to understand menus that much. You only have to understand the principles of how it works versus the regular poly modeling. So one thing that a lot of artists might be curious about, like, what is the difference? And I'll maybe elaborate on that. So in poly modeling, when you see this kind of model like this that you see on the screen, I'm sure Curtis, you're gonna be able to see it when you go
Yep.
on
I see it all.
Twitch. If not, I can always share it with you on GoToMeetings too, if that's better. But when you look at this model, like normally you would have polygons on top of it. Like this would be a polygon, this would be a polygon, like this would be an n-gon, this would be an n-gon too, with like a lot of like. And then once you, if you want to have it quad, then you would have to go with like specific mesh, and then go with like some if it would be subdivision surface, you would have to go in and have control loops and all that jazz. The problem that appears when you do that, when you do subdivision modeling, which is the clean modeling for games and like high-end visual effects, would be that if, for say, I want to do like a cut like this, it's not as easy as what I did here. You have to cut the mesh, open it up, then create those polygons, clean up the everything that is going on here, add new control loops and whatnot. It's a lot of work Whereas here I just cut it in and it works. And if you would want to do in subdivision modeling stuff like this, that would be more difficult, especially if you would want to keep some sharpness and even go further than that, like adding even more cuts. Like let's say if I draw like a little cut like this one, that's already becoming really complicated for just your regular 3D modeling. Any kind of Boolean operations, especially like really extensive Boolean operations, are really hard to do in the regular 3D modeling. Let's say if I choose, let me do this real quick. I'm gonna just use bodies, and I'm gonna take this element that I have here. I'm gonna copy and paste, so that because I want to do is I want to use it as a Boolean. This kind of operation in the regular modeling would be pretty difficult to do. It would probably result in an unworkable mesh in the end, or something that would just not look as good. But in here, you just any kind of Boolean operations are super easy. Actually, gonna move it in a little deeper, and then cut it in. So this kind of shape wouldn't probably have a lot of bugs, open faces and whatnot. It's actually, if we do a section analysis, because you can do that here in Fusion 360, it's going to be in, can you remind me where that was? Oh, there it is.
Section, yep.
You can see as I'm moving the surface, it's actually the whole thing cut in right in there, right? So it's not like a fake cut. It's actually removing the proper amount of surfacing there. Those kind of things are really, really, really difficult to do in poly modeling. At least in my limited view, I'm pretty sure some expert 3D modeler, I don't know, like David Lesperance or Vitali or Fausto, they could probably do that really easy, or easier than I think it's possible. But I can, just seeing even Vitali using a lot of CAD software to build what he builds. I mean, I'm pretty sure he just finds like a new tool to have those limitations removed from him. So that's the biggest difference. A lot of operations that can be done here are very hard or impossible to do. Well, they are possible, but very hard and time-consuming to do in poly modeling. The disadvantage of using this thing is as soon as you take, let's say I take this model right here and I want to export that one, save as STL, and I'm gonna preview mesh, you can see that mesh becomes triangulated, and that's just the limitation of, for now, right? It's always gonna be triangulated. I think if for whatever reason you guys would figure out how to make it quads only, I don't think I think that would be such a groundbreaking thing to do. That like, because for game designers, for instance, like everything has to be quads.
Yep.
For film, I believe, and VFX, you want to have quads too, and also like things like this. When you import it to 3ds Max, they're difficult to operate. Like if you want to bend it or anything like that, it's going to be a difficult thing to do. I mean, one thing you could possibly do is go to ZBrush with this model and like Dynamesh stuff, but it's going to be it's going to be a difficult thing to do in the end. It's not going to turn out to be, the best possible solution. But here's the catch. So for us concept artists, at least from the concept art point of view, you don't really care if it's quads or not, because you're not going to use it in a video game asset. Now, even if you are using those assets and you use it in concepts, and say you're working for video games and working in a studio, and you send them this file, you just export it as STLs or and then from STL you can open it up in Mesh Mixer and change it to OBJ, or you can get this as IGS or step file, import it to Max because it's gonna read the file naturally, and then export as OBJ. For an artist, 3D artist, it's still better than just the concept because they already have all the proportions they need. They just have to do the retopo, and that's much easier than building from the actual concept. So for me, so coming back, why I'm just talking about Fusion 360 all the time and inviting you, and we've been having these conversations back and forth, is because I love it. You know, it's such an easy tool to use. It's just for concepting. It's just like straightforward for me. It's just like it works super fast. I don't have to figure out the technicalities of things. A lot of features that you were showing me, there's like way more features that I don't even know they're even more advanced, right?
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of things that are the most important and most usable and workable in the first place are already here, and I don't have to search for them. And that's the sort of like removing any kind of obstacles that you can from the whole process is what I'm after, and this is definitely getting me there. And yeah, so that's kind of like a good, I guess, a good breakdown of how you would compare it to your regular, modeling software, because it's different. It's a different thing too. Like for instance, this model right here, the way you look at it, you have to. I'm sorry, I'm talking so much.
No.
I'll let
Go
you
for
talk,
it.
Curtis.
You're doing it.
This thing is like you cannot just take this and start moving it around in the regular CAD environment, but you guys made miracles, and you can freaking start rotating this shit. When I saw it, I was like, what in the hell? What's going on here? I want to know. I mean, it's still sort of in bounds of what machines can do, because that's the whole idea, right?
Yep.
Like the whole thing, it's supposed to be working the way that you can actually then print it or mill it and whatnot. So
Mm-hmm. You know, Maciej, just to get to the point around working with TETs versus quads. So just to let you know, we're going to be able to do quads very, very soon. So that's in the roadmap. I was actually at our office last week in Portland, where development is done too for Fusion, and we have a lot of things that you can bring over, that we're bringing to Mesh Mixer, then that we're going to get inside of Fusion, to where you can actually take like TETs, set some parameters are up, and it will convert them all to quads right within Fusion 360.
mm-hmm.
So we have a lot of great stuff coming out with working with meshes in the next 6 months to a year at most. So definitely look out. I don't know if you've seen our new mesh command that we've actually added within Fusion. So once you hit under model, that workspace, and you drop down, you'll see now something called mesh. And that's taken some of the technology we have in Mesh Mixer to work with STL files and
Okay.
working with them directly inside of Fusion.
Can you let me pull up your screen again? Can you
Yeah,
show
of
me a
course.
little bit of like how that works? Because this is
Yeah,
exciting.
totally.
This is exciting.
Right. Let me.
That's what I love about like any time I talk with you. It's just like you always say like this one, like you throw in that like little bone, like fetch.
Let me get some. Let's see here.
Somebody said, "Damn, I was thinking about Fusion, and now the stream, I'm sold."
Yeah.
Awesome. So I am just opening up a couple of files here. So under, oops, let's do this. Should do this one right here. There we go. So inside of Fusion, what we have now is, let me just move this guy out of your way.
Mm-hmm.
Under when you drop in your name, go to Preferences. Under Preview, you can actually turn on, we have a couple things in Preview today still. So you have, I know there could be a lag right now, but you have, sketching, which shows you kind of this realm of blue, black, and red lines for fully defined, underdefined. You have cam, so which you have today, but you can do water jet, laser, and plasma. So you get access to a water jet or a laser cutter or a plasma cutter. We can do that right now.
Most of us do.
Like most of us in our garage, right? And then cam orientation into some 5-axis live reviews that we talked about. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. I think it's really cool. And then now this whole new mesh workspace. So when you get inside of Fusion under model, you now have this mesh drop down, and we're actually adding more and more of this in the months to come, even weeks. So once you're inside a mesh, you have the ability to insert mesh right from here, modify, right. So remesh, reduce, close up bad mesh, smooth some of the mesh out, merge bodies, separate. So I think this is going to be a great thing even for you to experiment with and see what you like, what you don't like. If you have any recommendations of what you like to see, where you would like the product to go, since
I want quads. That's what I want from meshes.
It's in the works, but no, that's what everybody asks for, right? It's we still have to go use, I don't want to call it third party, but which is Mesh Mixer or Remake to convert over to quads and then bring it over to Fusion as BREP data, right?
Yeah.
So that's the workflow today. It's getting better. Trust me. I saw some awesome stuff last week that.
Wait. Hold on. So you can take STL file and make it BREP, and it's gonna be clean.
Yeah. You can actually bring your STL into Remake, which is right here. We call it Memento because I'm running on a Mac, but it's Remake. And just to show you, just so you get, everyone could go download this. This is free. This is the product that I use.
Show totally. Papa. I want to know.
So if I go to Autodesk Remake, let's right here, download this sucker. It's free, and it's called Remake on Windows, but it's called Memento on a Mac because we just haven't finished the Mac version yet. But get it here, and you can actually, let me actually fire this bad boy up, okay? And you guys can see what we're doing here. No, let's just let this guy go. Actually, I think I might have to download the latest. Let's just do that real quick.
All right.
Sorry.
Can't wait. We have time.
Yeah, we have plenty
of time.
Mac. There we go. Cool. Give it a second. But I at least want to show you some workflows. And I actually even created some video content too. If anybody's ever interested on that on our YouTube channel, as this downloads, I'll just show you where all this good stuff is.
Yeah. Show us, please. One of the things that I liked about learning Fusion was that there's so much content out there.
Oh yeah.
On the site itself.
Yep. Let me go to our Fusion site, and so now under you have playlists, and then I get into, actually let me just do a little search here, make it easy. I think I call it Remake. So here it is. Go from STL to CNC machining, and then you have this is one that I actually brought in of working with an STL file here. So it's like a tooth that's just a TET based mesh, and then you can actually take it, crop it, cut it, and I'll show you right here how it looks. See how it comes in as all now quads? I'll give it a second. And you can see it right here. Bring it into Fusion, and then once you bring it into Fusion,
so you bring it to when you bring it to Fusion, it's all quads already, right?
Yeah, when it comes into Fusion, it's all quads.
Damn. So, all right, that's a big step up.
Oh yeah. And then we're hoping to have just this integrated within Fusion rather than you go back and forth between two different products. This quad functionality will come over to Fusion.
That's nice. That would be nice.
So, but it's not bad right now today.
Yeah, it's awesome actually. It's actually pretty freaking rad.
No, totally, dude. So
because now what it allows to do is just take those STL files that you would normally just have them as mesh in Fusion. Now you can actually have really, really cool shit with it. You
Oh.
can actually use all the modeling, or all the tools that you have in the model tab, all this kind of Boolean operations on those files.
Totally,
pretty cool.
totally, and that's and this is all great content. If anybody wants, I can cut and paste it in the chat for you guys.
How does it work with retaining like sharp edges? Like, let's say you have more of more of a like a hard surface
Yeah,
kind
totally.
of thing, and then you have like some sharp edges. Does it retain those? Because I know when you go in quad and you go into the B-rep,
Makes it very kind of
yeah,
marshmallowy,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yep. So, when you look at some of the data here of going from tets to quads, it all depends on the refinement. That's what it comes down
Okay.
to. So if you have, and we do have a limit with remake, that will get better in due time. But if you got to go with 12,000 faces, I mean, you're going to get, a little bit more curve. But if you go with, 100,000, you're going to get maybe that definition you want, right?
Right.
And then two, when you start taking that over to B-rep data, and it's now something you could work with. So for example, B-rep data, we look at T-spline technology. I'll just kind of whip something up here.
Mm-hmm.
Is you have this flexibility of saying
the
that
creases, right?
Yeah, the creases, right? So I
Right.
can come in and just say, let me crease an edge, and I'm going to get more of that definition right here. And then if I exit out, I can now take this edge creased and add a little bit of a fillet right there to it. So it depends on on what you want to accomplish, but you do have that flexibility. So just something. It'll get better. But
Yeah,
I think
of course.
from today, it's.
I mean, the progress you guys done from the moment I actually discovered it till now, it's it's pretty big. There's a lot of tools that haven't been there. Still no shortcuts.
Yeah. We it's interesting because we do have that came up, and we do have our little S key that you can just search through, and if I want to look for an item, I can just dig through it and type bridge, right, and get that function that I'm looking for. But in due time.
If you can press Control B to do bridge, that's much
Exactly.
faster. You know what I mean?
I totally agree with you. It's just we beat up the development team last week of like, well, when is it coming? Blah, blah, blah. So we hear it. I just need more tick marks to add to that, and yeah. So it's and this is this is what you guys are awesome at. You guys use those Mayas and Maxes and Blenders to get really cool stuff and create. But the thing about it though, it's we've now introduced T-splines to the engineer, right?
Yeah.
And engineering is like, what the heck? This is unremarkable. Or this is probably like 20th century to you guys, right? Where
it's been there forever.
It's been there forever, right? But just how you brought up earlier, like combine and Boolean operations. Look how quick I can just rotate it or something. To me, that's been there forever. But I played with it forever.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. It's been in poly modeling too. It's just like it would. I don't know if I do pro booleans in Max or anything like that. on the easy models it works, but the more advanced you get, it's just like it's doesn't get as close to what this can do. So the remake can change can make the mesh quads, right?
Yeah, totally. Let me get this guy fired up. Hopefully it already installed. No, let me go to my Finder here. Get this sucker installed.
Because one of the as you said, if you guys are integrating it into Fusion, it would be nice to have an option when you're exporting to actually export to make it quads, even if it's not like at the end of the day.
Totally.
Because the workflow is kind of like it is possible from what I see from what you describe. So in essence, I would just export it as STL, and then open up remake, and then make it quads, and then save it, and that basically gets me everything that I need to have to have actual quads. It's not going to be optimized, obviously, but you can always go in Max and optimize it for yourself if you really want to.
Oh yeah.
But it's still quads. You know, it's still it's still gonna work well with, like, if you want to add, let's say if you want to add like subdivisions or anything like that. You know, not
Yeah.
that
No, no,
not that it
totally.
would, not that you would want to, because it's gonna be still already like a really dense mesh. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep. No, no, totally. And all the things you bring up, it's all on that checklist that we
right.
want to accomplish in the next 6 months with Fusion. So let me
Damn.
just export this guy to my desktop, and I'll bring this into Remake. So actually, we did come out with an update to Remake that does work on the Mac, which is fantastic. So here's Remake right here, and I'll just load a model, and here's my STL.
It's probably still saving. It's a big
Weird.
tooth, you know.
Yeah, it is. It is big ass tooth. Let's try this again. Maybe I didn't save it to the right directory. Export STL, save to my computer, and I'll type. Let's see if we could.
Can you right click the body, right? Can you?
Yes, genius. You're right. I'm a freaking idiot. Let's go, and that's not 3D.
Oh boy.
Select it, and go to my desktop here, and let's go to Remake. Load that model. Where are you? There it is.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. Oh boy. Okay,
Look at those triangles. Look at this.
Look at those triangles.
Yeah.
Look at that kind of blob here. Let's take a look at under here. We can drop and see the mesh.
Mm-hmm.
So there it is. So now what we would do is there's a couple things of, you could slice and dice if you choose. So where do you want to slice it? I'm not going to fuck with it. I don't want to repair anything. Everything looks good. I can even do like bring in images, 3D print, which I don't want to 3D print it. And then 2, we got the, and they've kind of actually made it look a little sexy now. So I want to load to the gallery. I want the export. Where's my export?
Those confusing icons.
God damn it. They're making it look so too sexy. I don't even understand. Oh, there we go. I think this is it right here. Yeah, there we go. Export. I don't want it as a PNG. I want, so OBJ, I want it as Fusion 360 OBJ quads right here. Bam. Bam. And then let's go medium. That works. So let's do a quick export. Fuck. We'll just keep it like this. Advanced, you can do the amount of target faces. This is typically what I do.
So is it working? So let's say you have a target face count. Let's say you put like 500. Does it gonna put most of details to the edges, or it's just gonna like evenly
distribute? Evenly, okay. Yeah, distribute. However, this is something to keep in mind, though, my friend. Is you can do it, but it's what Fusion can handle bringing it in to Fusion. So the sweet spot I've seen is like 25,000.
Right.
It's cool, but it'll get better. But it's something, right? And we'll just
yeah.
Let me just bring this into Fusion. Let's go. Load.
See, I was gonna ask for 5 steps ahead.
I know. Let's grab this OBJ guy.
Another question.
Go ahead.
Okay, this one says Fusion 360. Is it used exclusively by artists and 3D modelers, or would a design or mechanical engineer use it as well? Anyone who knows can simply answer in chat. I just downloaded the program 10 minutes ago. So if you guys can help answer that.
Yeah, totally. So see us as the direct competition to like SolidWorks. So for the mechanical engineer, the SolidWorks, the inventor, the pro engineer, we do everything they do today, right? And we're going to do a lot more down the road. And it is for the industrial designer, right? We have customers like IDEO or Steelcase, or to biomedical people like Abbott and Boston Scientific to Under Armour. So we are all within the industrial design, mechanical, eventually electrical engineering, just because we have ECAD integration coming out. EagleSoft, if you're any electrical engineers on the line, we're going to have that full workflow, as I talked about earlier. Is our goal is to be the one-stop shop. We don't want you to ever leave the Fusion environment. We want it to be all done right here. So if you ever had to hop over to do ECAD, you drop down this little menu under Model and pick ECAD. Or if you want to do Mesh, as I was talking about earlier, you just pick on Mesh and you go from there. So that's our vision of, people go to too many different websites, work with too many different partners, where we just want it to be all done right here within this system, which is nice.
Yeah, that's always nice. There's always like this fair balance of, on one end, if you really specialize your software, it's probably going to be the best option to do that one specific thing.
Yep.
But then you also you have to compromise. All right, so from here, what do I do from here? Do I use a software that kind of has everything in one, that can get my workflow going, but I might just need to jump off every now and then to get like really specific things going in the other one? Or should I use more specialized software, but then anytime I want to get like a bigger scene or anything like that going on, it all of a sudden becomes a problem, because now I have to export, import, and go back and forth, and it's just like, do you want to deal with that? Like, one of the reasons why I haven't investigated much, but like there's software like Mari or Substance Designer, and they work great, but it would work better having that functionality inside of a modeling software that I already use, because otherwise you just have to kind of jump back and forth. And there's workflows where you can work on both platforms at the same time, and as you save, it updates your main platform, and then you see the feedback of it. That's great, but it's greater to actually see it in one screen without switching back and forth,
Yep.
One of the reasons like why I don't use Keyshot, because exactly for that reason, anytime I want to render something out, I actually have to export my scene to the Keyshot, and there's a bridge that allows you to update, but then you press update and you go to Keyshot and then you look at it there. Whereas if I use, say, Octane or V-Ray or F-Storm or any other plugin that is native to 3ds Max, I just open up the render window and I already see what I work on. So that's something I've noticed that I'm more after these days, and it's really cool to see how you guys are actually progressing with the software. Now, there's always a worry that whether it's going to be bloated or not, but yeah, it's very cool.
I think you said it right. It's every time you open up the software, if you're in it, once a week or once every 2 weeks or every day, right? We're coming out with something new functionality every couple of weeks, and updates to fix bugs and patches that we have out there. So I'm just, as you can see, re-exporting because I was an idiot and exported as regular, tets, not quads. So I'm just re-exporting as a quad. I'm like, why is everything still a tet here? I'm like, oh, it's still, I didn't pick the quad option right here. So
right on.
for triangles. So we're just doing that again real quick. It takes a little more time.
Yeah, of course.
You know how that goes. If I had a horsepower workstation like yours, I would be done in like 2 seconds. But yeah, so give this a second and then we'll bring it in and I'll show you guys how to do it.
With
Another question.
Millions of polygons I'm working on, it's always slow.
No, I understand.
How's my mic, Maciej?
Good.
Better.
This one says, what is the go-to 3D printer to purchase right now?
Well, it depends on price point, right? I mean, if you're looking for something that's not going to break the bank and you want to just do some simple stuff at home, I would, there's a slew of printers in this category of under $5,000, right? I have a printer bot, which I love, and I think it works great. I mean, you can have a heated bed. I think that's really key. Excuse me. You even get into other ones like Airwolf. They're actually based in Southern California. Theirs is more in the higher price point of, $4,000 to $6,000. They make quality equipment, but if you're going to try to start getting into, SLA and so forth. One I highly recommend for the price standpoint of $4,600 is Formlabs. They do some awesome stuff. Formlabs is one I would highly recommend if you want to get into some really intricate details and so forth. And even though it's SLA resin based, it is really clean. And from a ventilation process, there's not much you have to really worry about. So they've really cracked that code and introduced that quality of print to that market, right? To our market of, hey, we ain't got a lot of money. Let's go and invest in something that we can get some quality out of.
Yeah, well, printing is not a cheap deal. You know, it's not for like a regular. Oh, I want to try it. Yeah, you can't. It's not yet.
Yeah.
Soon, not yet. You can watch Von Ling's DIY 3D printer tutorial and do the same thing he does. It's gonna be questionable quality at best, but it works.
Yeah, no, totally. It's interesting when you start talking about the 3D printing, even versus CNC machining, right? It's like, 3D printing is so easy, just hit print. I'm like, well, it's only plastic, right? Or resin. And you start comparing like, well, how long does it take me to CNC machine this guy versus how long does it take me to 3D print it? It might take me, an hour and a half to CNC machine it, but an hour to 3D print, but I can go make it out of aluminum or brass or Delrin or such a more, stronger type of material out there and get probably a better finish rather than if you, depending on how you print it, whether it's how it is, if it's a curved surface, is it layer based? How does that look?
Yeah.
How's the resolution on it? So there's all these different variables that go into play. So yeah, go. Great question. You have my stamp of approval on a printer bot or a Forms Lab, those are the two I actually really like.
Cool. It's too much for me. Even for me, it's like maybe if I would be really into like toys development and whatnot, then it would probably make sense to make a prototypes. It's still a really expensive deal. Would have to be a really popular artist.
You're right.
Super popular, so you can just selling those toys, and you would probably not print them yourself. Obviously, you would have to find a other solution, but just for test. It's more so like for an average customer, for an average artist, it's more of like it's a toy to play with. I just have money to spend on. I don't know what to do with money, then I'll buy that. That's basically what it is for now, at least for me, what I think.
I understand.
I know there's a couple of 3D modelers and sculptors that are really into 3D printing. I think Colin Thomas from Naughty Dog's been really balls deep into the 3D printing ideas. I might actually get a podcast with him soon. It'll be fun to talk about that topic. But yeah, it's for now. It's just like with anything. Like with even I compare it to electric cars. 5 years ago, 6 years ago, electric cars was like 10-mile, 20-mile range, and it just dies.
Yep.
Now you have Teslas, so it's a matter of time. It's gonna come in and be best, or be way better than it is right now. So.
Yep, totally. So. After 5 minutes, here we go. You can see we got the quad-based mesh. Yeah. And under bodies, when we open this sucker up, we can right-click and, if I don't fuck this up, if I go to mesh to brep and say OK, let me say OK here, and it should take this guy and then convert it over.
I have a technical question.
God damn.
Where's
the board? Where's the board at? Did you guys see on that?
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
I was about to ask, and so one of the things that I've noticed, I'm curious, what is Fusion operating on most? Is it RAM or CPU power?
CPU.
Okay.
It's not all GPU stuff. It's CPU and RAM. And,
okay.
I'm not going to make any excuses, right? I think you saw me typing something there, and I think I always advise everybody to please type in something because our development team reads every one of those. I've actually put my phone number in there before, and I got some guy in China call me one time. So I'll tell you this, that we take it seriously, and not that I'm not trying to avoid the situation here, but software. But in general, though, it's hard to it amazes me of how much care we put into the product because everybody reads that stuff, and
Mm.
we try to make the product better that way. So there's been times where I give it a piece of my mind and cuss it out in that little description, but at the end of the day, it's if I don't fill it out the correct way, they're not going to get the right feedback that they need to
Yeah, you
to
type
fix
in,
it.
"Hey, what is this bullshit? What the fuck? I was in the middle of a
Exactly.
project. You
I
just
was
fucked
right
it up."
there.
Ah!
I've done it, and I feel bad, and it's funny, dude. You want to hear some funny shit? Is we actually, you know, those suckers kind of people. I've seen some comments, that go into that, and
You
it's
fucking beep 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 beep. um,
it's
so
crazy. Let's try this again.
I asked mostly because I've noticed one thing that I don't know if it's a suggestion that will help. You see, that's probably too heavy.
Yeah, it's too heavy.
Um,
Yeah, still nonsense though, but I think you
yeah,
guys know what this. Try.
limitations, I guess.
Yeah, patience, I think it is.
One of the things that I've noticed that would help and remove quite a lot of frustration would be some kind of ability to limit the software to how far it's going to calculate. Um, I, I think I've shown you that last time we were working on Fusion. Sometimes you get into like those really weird shapes, and then you want to boolean something, and because it's like really convoluted shape that you've created with a lot of like different aspects, because it's want to calculate things, mathematically, it's just gonna go into that endless loop of like, no, you're gonna wait. Fusion 360 telling you, now you're gonna wait for an hour until I finish
Yeah.
my calculations, and then I'll eventually let you finish it up. I know there's other software to do that. Like one of the software that does that. A lot of actually almost every software does that. But I think Cinema 4D is notorious for that too, because it allows you to do the most craziest things, right? But it doesn't limit you. Like ask you a question, like, "Are you sure? You have an old CPU, like little question mark before you commit." Like your CPU might not handle it, it's gonna ask you to wait forever. Like an option to limit how much it's gonna calculate, or maybe ability to cancel more reliably mid calculations. I think that would be great, because then it's just like once you get in that really advanced modeling or really advanced, almost like polygon pushing or surface pushing. It can get really heavy, and I've been myself, I know the limitations. I know what to expect, and I know if I'm doing something really crazy with the software, the off chance is that it might crash. It's just how it works. So I usually try to save critical work before I go into like really deep stuff. Sometimes I forget, which is kind of crazy and annoying. But the ability to sort of like cancel or limit, like, hey, I'm only allowing you to use 75% of the power, and if you cannot handle that, then please stop the operation or something like that. I don't know. Just I'm looking from more of a designer point of view. I guess it's still different for engineers, where it's just like, oh, it takes 10 hours to calculate. Well, then we're gonna wait. Because that's the reality of when you design something specifically for I guess manufacturing. It doesn't really matter if it's gonna take an hour to calculate. It has to be calculated in the right way, so that once you start CNCing it, or milling, or I don't know, whatever you do to actually make it as a tangible good, it has to be done in the right way so that machine reads it and understand what to do. Whereas for me, designer, it's just like, I can fake shit and make it look good.
Yep. So my answer to you on that is I don't know if I saved this as a quadr thing. Let me just do this again. Is so what we've been doing is this is where we're going to be leveraging infinite computing. So technically the cloud, to where all those things you discussed of, well, I'm gambling that my MacBook Pro ain't going to do it. So I'm going to leverage the cloud and have it go and compute and convert all this stuff over to me. And that's where we're moving to is maybe like for like yourself, you have this freaking kick-ass desktop solution that can probably do this very quickly. But for like the average guy like me who has a MacBook Pro, I know it can only handle so much. So I would then take this to the cloud and push it up there. So that's where we're going as a company, as well as for Fusion. So we're going to have that available for every workspace, meaning that today we do it for rendering. Tomorrow, later on this month, actually in October, end of October, we're going to be able to do it for simulation. So as you mentioned, for the engineer that might have to wait 10 hours to get that result, they don't have to wait that long anymore. They can, take this consumption model as pay as you go. I'm willing to pay X amount of dollars to get my result back in an hour or 10 minutes or 1 minute. And that's the direction we're going for a lot of the heavy lifting side that we choose. If not, and you don't want to pay, you just use whatever you got on your desktop to do it all locally. But
Yeah.
we're giving people an option though, for sure.
Yep. Yeah, I'm waiting for that local options there.
Yeah, yeah. I totally see your perspective, right? It's we've done the local option for rendering. So you can just say render locally and continue working, and it will use your GPU and all the stuff behind the scenes, and you can continue working at a fast pace because you have such a kick-ass PC that you can do all that locally. And I love your point though, right? Of the tipping point. Why can't I just say abort and not get fucked, right?
Yeah.
Of crashing or I lose all this. Like I just want to say abort. You back out. You take a step back. And I don't lose anything. I can just decide where I want to go next. I totally agree with you on that. It's how does that mathematics work, right? If your thing's cranking away, what's the behind the scenes that the software has to do to say, all right, stop, don't crash, back out and go back to version 2.24, which was right before you decided to send it to the cloud, or you hit OK or save or something.
Yeah, yeah, that would be yeah, because then you just realize, okay, what I'm trying to do here might not necessarily work.
Yeah,
maybe I should try something else.
Yeah, yep. You feel like
yeah, for sure. I had one more thing I forgot. Someone asked about rendering. It does have a render. Can you after you're maybe done with conversion here?
Yeah, I just want to try this one more time. If it
sure.
Up. That's it. I reduced.
It would probably it would probably work on my.
Nope.
Yeah, let me fire this guy back up, and I'll show you some cool rendering shit. I love rendering, dude. It's just amazing what we're doing. We're doing this really.
Yeah,
cool...
you guys have like your own proprietary rendering thing going on there in
totally.
Fusion.
Totally, man.
It's good for like previews. I know it loads HDRI. Can you load HDRI maps? Or you?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so it's good enough to sort of like get your preview, especially since it's not yet, connected. As you know, your guys are working on it, like connected with Max and Maya.
No, I understand.
Someone asked if there would be a connection between this and Cinema 4D, but that's probably, I don't know. I guess it's gonna be up to you guys. It is a competition software too, so.
We would probably do it with Vered first before Cinema 4D, which is Vered is our the one that all the guys use, like a Porsche and Nissan and all the guys for all the rendering stuff. But I mean, Cinema 4D is awesome too. So
yeah.
Surprised. Let me just whip something up here.
Just gonna chip it in from what I think you guys might be thinking. You can correct me if I'm wrong. You guys, when you're creating a software and thinking about integration with other softwares, you're always gonna put the priority on the list. Whether is it for us that important to have that connection, or maybe it's more important to actually create a feature that people are asking for. Unless it's like overwhelmingly asked for, like, hey, we demand Cinema 4D integration. I guess then you take it a little differently than if Like maybe working on stability of the software, fixing bugs so it doesn't crash, and adding more functions that people are asking for. That's probably better than the extra software that we can support in integration, because it comes with it's a much bigger task than most of us realize, because
Oh
it's a
yeah.
different coding, different structure of the software, different ideas, not just that, but also business stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
how you actually work it out with that company, like what kind of contracts you go into. It's just like so convoluted.
Mm-hmm.
Can be really
Mm-hmm.
tricky. So yeah, that's the
Yeah.
render stuff. That's
Yep.
the regular, right? There was ray tracing there as well.
Yeah, totally. So let me just make sure I got some metals on here. Let me go with aluminum polished on my engine block. And then all it is, I can set scenes, right? So I can go change the position if I choose of how I want this to look, to flat ground,
Mm-hmm.
reflections, roughness, camera, and then let me just turn some of this stuff off, is a focal length, so I can change how I want that focal length to look.
Mm-hmm.
And you can play around with all that decals to texture map controls, and then if you do in-canvas render, I'm just going to quickly do an in-canvas render.
Yeah,
It's gonna,
I couldn't find that ray tracing. It was in a different place last time.
yeah, yeah. So in-canvas, and then we even have, I think, even under some of our anti-aliasing, let's do that. But under render, this is where you can turn your alpha channels,
Mm-hmm.
and then change. If you want to do local render, and you just turn on your advanced settings and show what you want, have it run behind the scenes, or
Yeah.
do your cloud and do it that way. It's simple.
Yeah, it's simple. It's good for preview. It gets you a good idea what it's gonna look like before you especially if you want to work on the complex shaders and rendering. It's gonna get you a good idea what to expect before you export.
Yeah. And then at the very bottom, this is where all your images are here. So if I click on one of these bad boys,
that's what I like.
Now.
That's one part of that I liked. It's just automatically creating like those views.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say if you're working on an asset and then you want to export it and work on shaders, you already have like little renders going on there that you can send out to client and say like, look, this is what I'm working on. This is how it looks without shading and whatnot. It's just like a representation, and they can have a good look and like, okay, yeah, I understand the shapes, I understand the form, and yeah, go ahead and move on the shaders. So yeah, it's definitely useful.
Yeah, totally.
For at least concept artists like me.
Apparently, you guys have a pretty strong team too. This guy said Fusion Team has been the only software that emailed me about crash reports and actually fixed my issue I was having. As a student using a new software, you guys had an amazing response from the dev team.
Yep, no joke here. We got over 350 people on Fusion all over the world,
big.
and we're putting a lot of resources into it. This is the future of Autodesk and manufacturing, and we want to make it very clear that we're going to ramp this up and mature it as fast as possible to get all the recommendations and nuances ironed out and all that kind of good stuff.
Epic.
David asked about can you work out the resistance and weight distribution in Fusion? Example, designing a prosthetic leg and knowing it's not going to break from the weight, and it seems like you have that, right?
Yep. So it's funny, if you follow for the gentleman that asked that question, we actually partnered up with Denise, I think Schindler. She's based in Europe, and she was actually in the Olympics, and we actually designed an entire prosthetic leg for her in Fusion 360. Wow. And it raced in the Olympics, and I think she raced recently and placed second. So we have all the stories you want in regards to Fusion and prosthetics.
Damn, Daniel.
That was perfect.
That was right on.
Right in my head.
Right on.
Right on money.
Right on money, dude. So simulation, though, is where you would play around with this bad boy, and you would do new study. You could do static, modal, thermal, and thermal stress. We have a lot more to come Non-linear and all that good stuff. It's on its way, but you can do exactly what you need to do to get a product from design to marketing.
That's awesome.
It's cool.
Hell yeah. It's all in one package. Dude, time is flying. We're already
Dude,
past
right?
1 hour. God damn. Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up here, I think. Dude, I would love to have you once more because I want to
Of
jump
course, man.
into.
I hope not once. I hope more than once.
Dude, let's do this because I want to jump into one of the things that I really want to like progress in my fusion designs is the way I create shapes and the way I can create like those really intricate forms. And I know fusion can do that. I'm just too stupid to understand it. So I would want to kind of walk that through with you and find out if we can create something like really interesting out there.
Totally. Yep.
Yeah, we'll schedule something something really soon because I really enjoy. I'm pretty sure our audience enjoying that too.
Work on sending the win is good.
Yeah, let's do that. Maybe let's just get one more question and then wrap it up.
Yeah,
How
totally.
about that?
Yeah. There were two more. I'll just choose one of those. This is, what are the biggest pros from using Fusion 360 over normal polygon or polygonal modeling tools for concept art? Or is it just personal preference?
We kind of covered that in the beginning when I was
Oh, you
showing.
did?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. It's perfect for hard surface. It's just like because it's fast. You know, you can do those really extensive. I'm actually gonna show my screen this time around. You
Yeah,
can
go for
do again, like you can do those really extensive Boolean operations that normally would be difficult to do in 3D soft, like regular 3D software. Let me pick up. Let me do it once again for you guys. So if I take those two parts right here, I'm gonna copy paste them in and move them. Maybe I'm gonna move them like this time. And I'm gonna sink them into the floor. I actually gonna, oops, I canceled it. What the fuck? A moment of quiet. Peaceful, nice and peaceful. You know what? I'm gonna do this instead. I'm gonna move it like that. And sink it in. I'm gonna do a little edit there too, real quick. Just push this out. So you can see just by even by the preview, you can see what it's gonna cut inside of it, right here. And then it gives you all that really finite detail. Then normally, like if you would want to do this stuff right here in poly modeling, holy shit, good luck with that. It's gonna take you quite a lot of time, you know? Whereas here it's just like, look at the detail.
Cool.
And the great part is like you can just move, like it's not slowing down anything. It's still one surface unless you're gonna go in and have like millions of those cuts and stuff. Then obviously it's gonna start to slow down. But yeah, it's just like it would take you a lot of time, and then you can go in and like start adding like even more crazy stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm using this. It's just because I can create a shape that I'm after, like a cool Boolean sort of tool. It's almost like using a insert brushes in ZBrush. You know, it's very similar. It works very similar way, and you can save those tools separately. Let me just show you. I'm gonna kill the screen for a second so I don't expose any data that's not supposed to see the daylight. And then go into my proper folder that I've been creating. Okay, it's ready. So right here I have like my inserts gallery where all those little things I can use, I can import. I don't know, let's say I want to import this guy into current design. So I have my little box like this that I already created. Oops. The camera is moving around in a really weird way. And I can do it like this. I already created it in a way that if I use, I believe that was this. There you go. And I have a detail. And it's nicely cut in. It has all the information there. It's already like a pre-made insert brush for me. And I can copy and paste this everywhere I want and have like millions of them. Again, if you would want to do it on the hard surface in regular 3D modeling, you would have to make sure that you have those open spaces. You would have to like cut in polygons. You make sure that they are all the same scale. You would like probably have 4 polygons that you cut out that are in a square. Then you place this little object over there, and then you readjust all the polygons to make sure that they are working nicely. Whereas here it's just like, it took me 20 seconds. So it's super nice in terms of like working those details. And all of this, like small details that you see here, already created, all of that is just, you know, a lot of those Boolean operations, same stuff that we just did here with that little cut. So yeah, it works. It just works wonders for me. It's yeah, exactly. Like someone said, try doing that in 3ds Max. You can. It's just gonna take you a day. But yeah, I mean, again, it's not gonna be quad until you put it in Remake. All right, let's wrap it up right here. It was fun, dude. It was fun having you again.
Thank
and
you. Again.
yeah,
Sure.
let's come
awesome.
back. Let's come back next time, and I will really want to do like those organic shapes inside of Fusion, because I'm still struggling learning that. I have a good friend of mine that works in Rhino, and he does that in Rhino in a really really great way. I'm pretty sure he can do similar things in Fusion. So
You got it. Yep.
cannot wait for that. All right, let's wrap it up, guys. That was a great stream. I really enjoyed it, and thanks, Curtis, for your time, man.
Hey, thank you again, guys. I appreciate it as always.
Yep.
All right,
Yeah.
guys. Talk to you later.
Yeah, and just before we go,
Yeah.
tomorrow is a day. Tomorrow is a judgment day. We are about to
It's gonna
announce.
be a good day.
We're about to announce new stuff. So tune in. John, it's 1 p.m., right? Am I correct?
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Yep. We're gonna talk about the new shit for Learn Squared.
Awesome.
New stuff. So, all right. Take care,
Cool.
guys.
All right, guys.
And
Yeah.
I'll see you soon.
All right.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye.